I'm gonna tell you how I got through college without reading a book and getting a degree in English. Just kidding. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, welcome. I'm Nina. Today, I'm gonna tell you about my journey to becoming an English major. From someone who was put in advanced math from 2nd grade to senior year of high school, I never in a million years thought I was going to be an English major. Okay, so this is a story that I've been wanting to tell for quite a while because I feel like so many people go through this when they get to college, where they get there and they go through this crisis of either not knowing what they want to do yet and being stressed that they can't find what they're good at, or the thing that they thought they wanted to do, they're not actually good at that. And so I kind of went through all of those things, and I switched my major and minors like 3 different times. But I feel like it's a common thing where you go to college and you're expected sometimes to, I don't know, make good on your investment with your education, obviously, and some people hold different professions or majors as more important or more, they give you more of a payoff in the end. But it took me 2 years to figure out my life. So if you are in college and you haven't decided what you're gonna do, just know that I switched my major halfway through college. But for those of you who don't know, I just graduated from the University of San Diego with a degree in English and a minor in marketing. Let's see, so before I talk about college, in order to tell this story, I gotta rewind all the way back to 2nd grade. So when I was growing up, I went to a little Catholic school, and they had like a separate class for advanced math and advanced reading, and they had a bunch of different levels in the class of ability, I guess, which now I really don't agree with, because when you're that young, how can you really know if you are like just naturally smart or you work really hard? And that is where things got messed up for me, because I got put into advanced math up until 8th grade, and I thought it was just because I was smart, but in actuality I just worked very, very hard in class. A lot of the times when you're younger, your hard work can be mistaken for natural talent, which usually happened with me. And so I got put into all the advanced classes and all whatever. And then when I got to high school, I tested into like the next grade level of math, probably because I was in advanced math and I was ahead of everybody anyways. And so I got on the fast track in high school to be able to finish the 4 years with AP Calculus at the end of it. So I thought I loved math. I thought I was so good at it. I took AP Statistics and AP Calculus senior year at the same time, and that was 4 hours of math every day. And I thought it was my favorite, but honestly it was torture, and I didn't even think that I liked English or reading. I thought I hated it. I thought I'd hated writing essays. But the thing was, in my early education was taught basically a very strict version of writing and literature. There was one interpretation. There was one way to write an essay. There was the right way to write an essay. And through elementary school, it was 5 paragraphs. Your thesis statement needs like 3 points in it, and then you get your 500-word essay, whatever. And then when I got to high school, it was a little bit less structured like that, but it was still like, here's your thesis, here's your body paragraphs, like this is the way to interpret this meaning, and don't use the first person. So many rules, and like I'm writing research papers about things that I'm not interested in at all. Going into, I was just in all the AP classes, so I was in AP English even though I thought I was not good at it and I didn't like it, but I passed both AP English tests with a 4. And I was like, that's just because it's English and it's not that hard. Like, anybody can write an essay. And I was just used to getting A's. Like, that was just normal. I don't know. I didn't really know what I, was good at because I was just only focused on the grade and not what I was learning. And so then senior year, when I was taking 2 math classes, I was ready to pull my hair out. I got a 1 and a 2. I drew pictures on the AP Calculus test because I just was so done. I had always really enjoyed the discussion part of English class, but I just never thought I was really good at writing. I would say the most concrete life lessons came from my English classes. I look back at high school and I just never realized that my favorite teachers were my English teachers. Yeah, I still use books that I read my sophomore year of high school in my essays now. So, fast forward to college. I entered college thinking I was gonna be a business major. I was gonna do marketing because it was a little more creative and it just seemed like the safe bet. And for post-grad employment and all of that stuff. The first year, I have never gotten an A in a business class in college. And that was a huge wake-up call for me because freshman year I struggled in econ. I struggled in accounting a lot. I took my core classes for English basically, and I ended up wanting to get them out of the way quickly. So I took 2 English classes in 1 semester, and it was the best semester I had thus far. And I just thought it was because it's just a core class, everybody does well in it, but my teacher was I remember bringing my final essay in to discuss it with her, and she was like, oh, I don't see there being any problems with your essay. And I was like, what? She's like, well, everything you've turned in has been great. I was like, really? Because I was sitting in my class and we got our essays back and I had gotten an A. I don't know. I'm not saying oh, look at me, I'm the best, but I was like, okay, well, I'm excelling in this class. And then I had gotten an A in my other English class and I was like, am I doing something wrong? I decided then that I would minor in English. The minor was even a tough sell for my parents because everybody just doesn't get. They're like, what are you gonna do with English? You can't do anything except be a teacher. I can't tell you how many times I got that after I switched my major. When people are like, oh, what's your major? I'm like, oh, English. And they're like, so do you want to be a teacher? And I'm like, there's nothing wrong with being an English teacher. Honestly, I loved my English teachers. But for me, I feel like that comment is so limiting. And it makes me feel like I have this one path that I'm allowed to be if I'm an English major. And I would just feel like, no, I don't want to do. And unless I said oh, I'm gonna do marketing, people, I just feel like they don't have respect, I guess. So it's kind of hard because for a while when people would ask me, I almost didn't want to tell them because I was kind of not ashamed, but felt like being an English major is somehow lesser than other majors. And I used to joke with my dad and I was like, I'm gonna switch my major to English, haha. He'd be like, yeah, right. But that's the hard thing though, because if your parents are helping you pay for college, I did have my scholarship, but USD is a very expensive school. So yes, my parents are helping me pay for it. And when it's their money, their investment, it's hard to be able to convince them that you are going to excel in a major that is riskier per se and not what most people do. So trying to convince the parentals to completely switch my major was hard, and I kept my marketing minor because I used to be the marketing major and I basically just swapped major and minor. That was kind of the conditions for getting the English major, is that I would have the marketing minor. And so I was fine with it because I was like, I already took all these business classes. I might as well just keep the minor. But anyways, I'll tell you, so I had those classes that I was doing well in English, and The summer after my freshman year, I started a blog. It was really bad. It was just me writing my opinions and thoughts on this website that I have since taken down. But it was discovered that I loved writing. I loved it. I was also writing music, songs, and stuff. I was always trying to like create, I guess. That's kind of where everything started, with me thinking I could be an English major and I could be good at it, and I enjoyed it. That's all I knew. And then I think the turning point was when I got a C in accounting. I begged my professor to withdraw me from the class, and he was like, no, it's okay, like you'll get a C. And I just, really killed me, because after I switched my major, that class did not count for anything. Anyways, I switched my major. It's really easy to switch your major at USD, and I'm sure at other schools it's not that hard, especially if you go to more of a liberal arts school. If you go to, I don't know, some of the other schools, it's hard to get out of your major, but I'm telling you, if you have the slightest inkling that you do not want to be studying what you are, really think about that, because think about your happiness and your future and the long run. What is going to benefit you the most? Not just in money, but in life. At USD, the business school, like, they're cranking out people declaring business majors. So I went in there one time to declare my English minor, and the lady was so mean to me. I just did not have a good experience at the business school. And then I went into my new advisor's office at the English department, and she was so nice. She was kind of joking. She was like, oh, we love a good defector of the business school. And I was like, only the English department would say that. It was funny because USD has like 5 English majors. That's exaggerating, but in the week that I declared my English major, one of my English teachers brought cookies to me, and also they put my name on a board, which is so funny. So at first I was like so excited. I was like, I switched my major, like this is gonna be great, like I'm gonna start excelling. And then I think the end of my sophomore year, I was in this English class, and it was a lot of upperclassmen and like, you know, seasoned English majors, if you will. And I definitely feel like I didn't fit in that English major stereotype, I guess. I don't really like reading old books. I don't really appreciate most old classic literature. I just felt kind of out of place in my own major, per se. I felt like I had nothing to contribute to the discussion, and it was kind of hard because I felt like, oh my god, I'm not even good enough to be an English major? Like, this sucks. I was in this British literature class, and I just really can't do Middle English. Like, some of it I liked. I really liked poetry at the time. If I'm being honest, I first liked poetry because it's short and I don't have to spend hours reading it. I did like close reading, but I couldn't do Chaucer. I literally would joke with my friends, I'm like, I'm the worst English major ever, because first of all, I never wanted to do the reading, and I hate to say that I did use Shmoop. Shmoop literally saved my life in college for all of the books that I didn't actually want to read. I just felt like a fraud in the English major. I was like, oh my god, I'm the worst. I'm literally getting a degree in something that you're required to read books and write about them, and I wasn't doing half of that. I just felt like I had a hard time with reading comprehension. I always have. I always will read something and somebody will be like, oh, I think this symbolizes this, and I'd be like, I did not get that. And I was super discouraged. I was like, maybe I'm not even an English major, like what am I? And then I thought about creative writing. That's kind of when things all kind of changed for me, because following my semester abroad where I took some awesome English classes and I read some really awesome books that I really loved, and I was like, yes, this is what I love doing. But it wasn't until I got to my end of junior year where I took my first creative writing class, and I was like, okay, this is exactly where I'm supposed to be right now, because writing is a little bit different than the literature side of English. And I mean, even though the whole like reading part is not my favorite, there are books that I love, and I read a lot of really, really good books, but mostly like articles and different memoirs, stories. I loved that part of it. And I just loved my classroom and my teacher. My professor was my favorite professor I've ever had. Shout out Brad. And my class. I will shout out my Brad's boys. Let's just say that. If you know, you know. I ended up going through with the creative writing emphasis. I took 3 more writing classes. So I took Intro to Creative Writing, then I had to choose between nonfiction, fiction, and poetry. At first, I took nonfiction and fiction at the same time to choose which one I liked better, and Brad was teaching nonfiction, and I loved his class, so I liked fiction, but it was way too technical for me, and I don't think I fit in much better with the people in my nonfiction class than my fiction class, because my fiction class felt there's a lot of pretentious voices, let's just say, and I just felt like I was not into that at all. I really wanted to write real things. Not that fiction isn't real, but I thrived much more on my own experience than kind of fictionalizing things. So in my nonfiction creative writing class, I had the same teacher for 3 semesters, so it was definitely awesome to build the bond with my teacher and also my classmates, some of them with me all 3 semesters, some of them for 2, a couple of them for just 1, and every day we walked in, we just had a very open classroom. We would talk about anything and everything. My teacher left it very open, and he was open with us too, which was really important. And then everybody felt comfortable enough to put everything into the writing. Nobody held back, and it was amazing because when you get into intermediate nonfiction, it's basically a workshop where everybody writes a couple, like 2 to 3 pieces in the semester, and people read their entire 5,000 word piece. And it's all nonfiction, it's memoir, it's writing about places, real experiences, real events, profiles on other people. It's a little bit journalistic in that way where everything has to be facts. Nothing is made up. It was one of the coolest things ever to hear how vulnerable everybody was able to be, and I think that's the one thing that drew me to the English major, because of the vulnerability that is in writing is the same vulnerability I loved in writing my blog, writing songs. Like, it kind of breaks through those social walls that we all have. I heard stories about mental illness, family members, different traumatic experiences. Like, I shared my own of all of these things as well. And it's crazy because, like, I'm not really friends with any of these people outside the classroom. It's kind of like the Breakfast Club in a way. There's this mixed match group. Everybody's so different, coming from so many different places and willing to talk and share and do the writing. Anyways, I absolutely love that class, and that changed my whole perspective on life, and also kind of opened up my eyes to different ways I can use creative writing in my future career and in this. Basically, my YouTube channel is a nonfiction piece in itself. And so I just wanted to talk about that creative writing bit because it's so important, and it's definitely helping me now. I kind of also wanted to talk about in this video the myth that if you're an English major, you're not going to be able to get a job, or it's going to be really hard, or you have to be a teacher. There's so many things you can do. Like, for me, with my marketing background, which is actually very helpful, and I've actually found it so helpful for my YouTube channel, and it's all of the digital marketing part of it is all the stuff that I like as well, and content writing. Every business needs a content writer, so if you end up being really good at writing, that's something that you can write content for any type of business, really. You could combine multiple passions. I feel like my dream job would be like content writing for some kind of music company or ice cream company, or I don't know. Honestly, you can, if you do your research, you can find something like that, and you could write Instagram captions for like a social media manager kind of thing. You could be a journalist. There was a girl in my class she's probably gonna be famous one day for her journalism. And my teacher gets students all the time who send him pieces from articles they've written for certain magazines, like journals, papers, all of that kind of stuff. You can also do editing, you can do copywriting, like you can even go to law school because you need to be a really good writer to be like a lawyer. You can write manuals, there's just so many things. You just have to look for something you feel passionate about. And that's kind of why I liked the idea of an English major, because for me, I've never been a one-track type of person. I always need a little bit of freedom to figure out what I actually want to do, and I didn't want to be limited to just like one field, I guess. When you're an English major, there's quite a bit of range with what you can do. You could also be a teacher. Maybe you're really good at teaching. I just know that I am not really good at teaching people. I barely know how to teach myself. Anyways, I want you to know, whoever you are watching this, if you are worried about switching your major to English, that if you do and you're really passionate about it, it's gonna be okay and you are going to be happy with that decision. I can tell you that I am. I'm very happy that I switched my major because I think it changed a lot for me and it changed things for the better, and it like opened up a perspective that I never could have had otherwise. Whatever major you're thinking about switching to, maybe you are a biology major and you're actually like struggling a lot with enjoying it or doing well in it, and you have always liked, I don't know, religious studies and you want to pursue that, but you're scared. You want to be a communications major, but people think that that's like an easy major. I feel like if you love something, I think you should do it. You should pursue your dreams and create your own happiness. Yeah, and honestly, I still keep a lot of my books from college and high school, and I still remember lessons I've learned from them. Provided me with so much perspective in life. Yes, there are books that I hated that everybody likes, like all the the classic high school books, like the Scarlet Letter and Great Gatsby. I'm sorry, I struggled through those and I still don't think I know them. I still got all of the books. I have more in the bookcase. Emily Dickinson, we've got Ovid, Plato, and these are books I actually enjoy. Like, I like reading them. But anyways, I think the overall thing I want people to take from this is that it's okay to not know what you want to do. It's okay to try and fail at the thing that you wanted to do, and it's okay to change your mind and to change your major. No matter how scary or risky you think it is, in the end, if you work hard enough and you put your heart and soul into it, something good is going to come from that. I think personally I learned more in the English major than I probably as an individual could have ever learned from the business school, because I just did not have the heart for it. I think when you do have the heart for it, it changes the game. And that is coming from a girl who thought she loved math until she was 18. 4 years later, here I am. And I have a YouTube channel, I started a blog. Also, if you ever want to check out some of my work, I have posted some of my writing portfolio on my website, so you can click the link in the description box if you want to go check that out. I have officially changed my uploading schedule to now Tuesdays and Friday mornings, so if you want to see those awesome videos coming up, you can click the subscribe button and also like this video. If you like this video, even if you didn't like this video, please like this video. That helps me out a lot. Thank you for watching. Thank you for getting this far into the video. I hope this helped you, and I hope my advice and my experiences validates you, and no matter what anyone tells you, you are worth your own investment in yourself. Just do you. Honestly, just do you. Also, side note, please comment down below what videos you want to see next, because I'm running out of ideas and I want to make content that you want to watch. So yeah. And yeah, I will see you in my next video. Bye. This is why I need to move out.